Okay, we came outside. It's nice. I gotta show you something. Okay, we're gonna soak up the morning sun. It's beautiful right now, and I'd rather do it now while it's calm because we live in the windiest city ever. Holy crap. Okay, I couldn't keep my shed up last time because it was made out of metal and plastic, and it couldn't handle the 30-mile-an-hour winds we'd get here. So it lasted like 6 months. Anyway, you know what? And I jimmy rigged this other makeshift, putting plastic around the thing that I already have. It's a box, a planter box, and my tomatoes died. At least I only tested it on 2 tomatoes, though. I have like 4 more in the house, so they're just gonna stay in the house. I'm just gonna have a house garden. It's fine. It's better than nothing until I can grow my greenhouse. Grow until I can grow my greenhouse. Until I can build my greenhouse. So yeah, we're just chilling, hanging out, loving life. I can't wait to let the other ones out. I feel so bad. It makes me sad, but they're too small themselves yet. I mean, I kind of tempted. I think one of them could take those ones, but it's still small. They come out and roam when I'm outside because we have hawks around here, and they got one of them already, so they've learned to stay in the shadows. But once the human's out, then it's safe. We like the human. We can go roam. It's pretty cute, actually. I bought them a bunch of worms, and I throw them. You're supposed to just do it intermittently, but it's too cute. So I do it once a day right now because it's adorable. But, it's supposed to just be like a snack. So look at, they're running over here. Hi, girls. Oh, be nice, Hank. Good boy. It's so adorable. They run like little velociraptors. It's hilarious. The other day, one was like, dang, I gotta lay an egg. And she like ran all the way back. It was so funny. They're funny to watch. All right, so where did we leave off? So I was sharing info and then backstory. Okay. And yeah, I did cry yesterday. I didn't cry the day of when I found the news out. Um, it was shown to me, and I get it. That's easier to sometimes tell somebody. But now I'm like stuck with those images in my head. It's like seared now into my brain. I could have gone without seeing that, right? But I get it. It was sending pictures and getting pictures sent back, type of thing. So I took a day. I did cry, but whatever. No, I don't feel bad because listen, about sharing this, like life happens. That's life, and there's other people going through the same shit. You're not alone. And like shit happens. Like I said in the other video, I had already opened that door of open marriage, so whatever, the idea of it, right? But nice if you communicated that that's what you wanted to do. But whatever. Our biggest problem, right? Communication. Anyway. I don't feel bad for sharing it. If you wanted to look like a better human, you should have been one. But also, like, it's not about picking on you. It's not about picking on the situation. but it's just truth. It's just truth, and that's all right. And it will be all right. I will be all right eventually, and it's all right. I can't even be mad. Like, it, life's hard, right? It is what it is, and that's all right. So, oh, we're on a timeline. So 13, that was the Sandra accident. So I actually switched high schools my sophomore year, no, junior year. It was my junior year that I switched high schools. So at 17 is when I got knocked up. So first of all, at first I was seeing this guy, and I got banned from seeing him, but then was kind of secretly seeing him, and then he just kind of like went MIA and was in California for like 6 months or something. And that's when this missionary came around, and never thought that I would like date a Mormon, because I don't know, I grew up Mormon, and I don't know, a lot of the kids were weird. Back then, I don't know, it was a different time. It was the 80s, so it was different. 90s. I grew up in the 90s. It was just a different time. I don't know, it was just weird. So I just never really thought about it, to be honest. Didn't really care about religion, just didn't really care. Didn't really have an opinion on it, like I believe in God, and never really felt like I needed to believe in some kind of religion, because I feel like they're all the same. And not in a bad way. Like, I think they all have really good qualities. I think they're great for people who feel like they need to go somewhere to worship and feel like they're a part of something bigger than what we see before us, And some people really need that to like recharge and restart their week, and they start it at church, and that's fine. That you do you, and I'll do me. But I think it's pretty cool to grow up with a different perspective, and I don't know, I guess I just see the world differently. Anyway, so how it all started was, first my friend was like, hey, you need to come see this missionary. He's like super hot. And he's from Canada. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll come join you in church. And that was reason number 2 of not to get even involved, because my friend totally liked him. Like, I was going to just, but then he kept coming over, like every day. Every day. It was almost unavoidable. And then it kind of grew on me, And when he made it clear that, and I even told him, I was like, dude, no, my friend likes you, and, I'm not good. And, who knows what's going to happen. You're going to go home, and you probably have a girl back there. And he's like, no, I don't have a girlfriend. I don't got a girlfriend. And so, months goes by, like 6 months, and then he gets transferred even to Fallon. And he even came over and would use his mileages to come see me, because in Fallon back then they didn't have, they had a Walmart, but they didn't have anything else. So on their P days, they can go and do other things and stuff. And so they could go to Reno, because it's only an hour away. And so he would come, and he would work out his mileages to make sure he can still come to my house and see me. And he wanted a way to contact me, so we exchanged emails, because he's allowed to email people. Wasn't really allowed to talk on the phone unless it was his family, so he was allowed to email people. So he was emailing, and it started getting like serious. Like, it started talking about weddings and him wanting to move here and marry me and all this stuff. And I'm 17, okay, mind you. And I'm believing into all of it, right? Like, everything, I was totally like, oh my gosh, yeah, like, this is totally my soulmate, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, it happened one time, folks. One time, okay? And they were over, and they're supposed to be with the companions, but then it wasn't as serious back then. But then, literally, I think this is what made them even more strict is, well, I mean, obviously, we probably weren't the first ever to have that happen, so I'm sure it's happened before, but it probably just became a problem, you know what I mean? So they have to be within hand distance of their companion at all times in every room. And if they go to the bathroom, one of them has to stand outside the door, like, because of the scenario that happened. So, yeah, one time, it took one time. And when I found out, which I have a couple spirit animals, okay? Wolves and owls. And owls, every time that I'm pregnant, owls will fly by. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I'm pregnant. And so then I'll go take a test, and sure enough, it's positive. So every time owls fly by, it's pregnancies, okay? Like literally every single one of my pregnancies has happened. 4 pregnancies, okay? Every single one. And we had these owls that kept flying by, and I'm just like, man, and I just feel off, and I haven't had my period, and so then I had to tell my parents, and that was scary. My mom handled it really well. She and I have always been really close. Mostly because my dad's always been that Jekyll and Hyde. Like, when he wasn't on alcohol, he was normal, and then when he was on alcohol, he was not, and you really had to be on your tiptoes just to survive, and just, we learned to just be quiet. If you're quiet, he can't get mad. You're not in his way, and he can't get mad, and you don't get in trouble. So we were always on ice, right? So my mom and I are close. And I told her, and she was actually kind of excited, to be honest. She's like, okay, well, we'll handle this, and that's kind of exciting. Like, I get to be a grandma. And I'm like, okay, but I need you to tell Dad. And she's like, okay. And he was like furious. Like, he was going to come down and be really mad and start yelling. And I guess he came down, and he, dang it, I'm getting sad. He came down, and he ended up giving me a hug and was like, it's going to be all right. We'll figure it out. And they were really supportive of all of it. It was great. So thank you. Whew, I hate getting emotional. It's so annoying. Okay, so anyways, so like a few months goes by, and Jonathan got sent to Vegas, and he's like about to be done on his mission, right? And so we have all these plans and all this stuff, and now I gotta drop the bomb. Like, hey, by the way, I'm pregnant. And so I let him know. And do you know what he says? No, you don't, because you weren't there. So he was like, well, I just don't know what to do, because I really like you and all that, and it's just like, I wasn't lying about any of the stuff that we talked about, but like, I have this girl waiting for me at home, and now everything's so complicated. And excuse me, you told me you didn't have anybody at home. That's why you did this whole lead me on bullshit. Okay. Excuse me, and you can't hide a pregnancy. Okay, bellies show. And I gotta live with this. You know what I mean? And you are gonna do your part. Oh, hell no. Right? And I was just like, So I went to my bishop, because I was like, no, I'm telling. Like, not to be petty, but like, hello, I have to be seen by everybody here. They're all gonna ask questions, and I ain't lying, because I'm not a liar. I don't like lying. I absolutely hate lying. So why would I? You know what I mean? Been lied to enough in my life. It's pointless. It's stupid. Be honest with me. Tell the truth, because I can handle that. I might be mad. I might be sad, but I will respect you more for the truth. Okay? I can't respect a liar. Because you know why? They'll lie, and they'll lie again. Case in point. What I just talked about in my marriage, right? So, anyway, so Lenny's like mad about it, and pretty much stopped contacting me until I think it was like 3 months after I had our son. And we kind of talked and we ended up working it out, and that went on for like 3 years on and off. Because I'm dumb and naive, and of course I want my son's father involved. And why do I want to do this alone? I didn't ask to do this alone. Just before Justin turned 1, so that went on for 3 years. I forgot I'd mentioned that. Brain injuries. I'm not even gonna say sorry for that. That is brain injury shit. Anyway, so before Justin turned 1, though, literally right before he turned 1, he actually flew us up so that he can meet his son. And Justin ended up taking his first steps there, which is pretty cool. I had that on camera, and I got to meet most of his family, just not 3. I didn't get to meet his dad, and I didn't get to meet 2 of his brothers. One of them was on a mission, and the other one, I think, was just at work or something, or in college. I don't remember. So anyway, but I did get to meet his other brother and his sisters and his mom, and they're all amazing. Like, he has an amazing family. And I actually kept contact with them over the years in case one day they decided they want to get in contact with Justin and get to know their nephew and their grandson and stuff like that, because they're really good people. And they were awesome. We were there for 14 days, but yeah, like, nothing really came of that, right? Like, it was the second time that we had worked on it, like, after that, because he was on and off cheating on me. So, like, he would go no contact for like 6 months, and then we'd be in contact again, and then it went on literally for 3 years. But for the first 2 years, I ended up getting engaged to somebody else. And then, like, my whole family was there at the engagement. And what's crazy is, I'll get to that in a second. The whole family was there at the engagement. It was awesome. And he had proposed at our work. We worked at JCPenney Portrait Studios together. And he took the portraits. He was also a photographer for the Fallon newspaper. And we'll get into that. That's funny. That's interesting. And it's another loop of how all things are connected. Oh my gosh. Okay, so anyways. So I said yes. He even had my son dressed up in a tuxedo. Justin was 3 at the time. And, or had just turned 3. Maybe he was 2. Yeah, he was 2. Anyways, so they got to know him and everything, and his family and stuff like that, and they're all excited. But my sister was like, look, those were not tears of joy. Sorry, I'm shaking. Those were not tears of joy. Those were tears of sadness. I know that you're still in love with Jonathan, and maybe that won't work out, but you don't settle. You do not need to settle, and you're settling. And I think that you need to break it off, and you need to give the ring back and say la vie. And I was like, you're right. I think you're right. And so I did. And what's crazy is the night before I had broken it off, Jonathan had contacted me again. And so then we were crying on the phone, and we were talking about stuff. And we had decided that we wanted to give it another go. And hopefully I don't move and make it shake. It's in the microphone itself. I thought it was the little clip, but the microphone itself just shakes, and it's annoying. It was cheap. Okay, that's what I get for a cheapo. Anyway, catching it. I gotta catch my breath. So I break it off. I give back the ring, and we try to work it out. But I have to backtrack for a second. So the guy that I had gotten engaged to, like I said, he was a photographer for the newspaper for Fallon, and he covered Fallon, Dayton, Carson, and he also was an umpire for some of the baseball fields around here, like for the youth and for adults. And I think he did actually do some for the colleges. So that was kind of cool. We got to go to a lot of things. So he took me and my son once to this children's dirt bike race. And we're sitting up in the bleachers, and we're kind of over off by ourselves because he can get free tickets in. So he got us a couple. And so we were sitting up in the bleachers, and he had to go down and do photography of the first place winner. And that happened to be my later on ex's son. So I actually was there at his first race. That's so cool. And we talked about that later on. But it's just funny because like I was just kind of like staring down, just trying to pay attention, and it was really cool to watch all the little kids just racing around, and it was really fun, right? And Justin had a blast, and we had a really good time. And I'm just like watching how Thomas is taking all these pictures, and I'm watching him walk up, and I'm kind of watching later on my ex. Try not to name names. Well, all names. Some names might come out. Crap, I just did some, huh? Anyways, so I'm watching him watch Thomas run up the stairs, the bleachers, and it was like weird because like it was like a weird magnetic thing. It was weird. I don't know how to explain that. But then we ended up talking about this later. He's like, "Oh, that was you? What the heck?" It's like, "Yeah, I was at that race." What? Weird. Anyway, so see how all things are connected? See why I feel crazy sometimes? Like, doesn't it sound crazy? Like a movie? It's weird. It's weird. Life's weird. So me and Jonathan try to work it out again. And we don't. Again, and this time I got a call from his sister saying how hey, well, I just ran into him, and I needed to let you know what I just saw. He's out on a date with a girl. Apparently, he's been seeing her for some time. And she has a son the same age as your guys' son. And she was like, "What are you doing? Like, practicing? See if you could even handle it or what? What are you doing?" And like, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for telling me that. I know I told you then, but thank you. Weirdly, it was really weird. It was during sometime in my marriage. I actually woke up crying in a dream because, okay, so it was like a futuristic type of thing. Not like weirdness, right? But just an event that happened in the future with me. So like in this dream, me and my son, we went up. It was like my whole family though. And we went up to go visit them. And like Justin was older, like 20, 21 in this dream. And we went there and they decided, let's go on a hike. Let's take them on one of our favorite hikes. And Jonathan had showed up, which we didn't think that he was going to, but then he ended up coming with his family. Because, obviously, time moves on, you move on, marriage, blah, blah, right? So we're going on this hike, and he goes, "Hey, can you and I walk ahead? Because I want to talk to you about something." And I was like, "All right." So we're walking ahead. Remember, this isn't a dream. And we're walking ahead, and all of a sudden, like, he's like, "I'm going to bring you up to one of my favorite spots." And so it's like one of his favorite spots, and it's this really incredible view of, I don't know if this is a lake or what, like you can see another like island section of like trees, and I don't know, it was just really a really pretty view. I'll have to like paint it one day or draw it so you can understand what I'm talking about. But we're kind of like, you got to go down a little bit and you're kind of like on a cliff edge. But it's totally safe. You just are kind of on an edge and you can just see everything and all the blue and all the forest and all the just, it was just a really incredible view. And I'm looking over at him and I'm like, okay, wow, this is like really pretty. But I can feel there's something else. Like, what's up? And he's like, kind of starting to get choked up. And I looked down at his wrists and they were bandaged. And I look at him like, hey, what's going on? Like, what's up? What's that for? And he's like, I just really need your forgiveness. And I was like, I gave him a hug and I was like, of course, like that was years ago. Like, of course I forgive you. It was so long ago. It was so long ago. And we were young, you know, like, of course I do. Like, whatever. And he's like, thank you so much. That means a lot. Like, I just been having a really hard time. And we hugged and we were crying and I woke up crying and I ended up Facebook stalking him. And what I found was a bunch of like self-awareness and depression and a bunch of stuff on his page. And so it like really kind of freaked me out. It was just kind of crazy how things work out and stuff. But then there was one thing on his page that said, don't worry, I am getting the help that I need. And so I guess things are good. Like my son keeps in contact with them and stuff. So I guess things are good. So that's good. That's relieving. Yeah, I would really hate if someone felt bad forever about certain things because life is messy. It's chaos. And we're all here, like I said, we're all spirits having a human experience and no one's perfect. And it's really okay. Like, move on, be better, do better than you were yesterday, and it'll be all right, you know? So, well, that concludes that story. I know this one probably got pretty long as well, so I'm going to do the next, and it does tail off of that because of that, it goes into, oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to keep going because it just happens to be. Why are you whining? Okay, it sounded like someone whined. Maybe it was just a chicken laying an egg. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Distractions. Anyway. Okay, so I do need to backtrack a bit. Okay. So after though that I had found out that he was cheating and we broke it off, it kind of sent me down a dark path. And I did decide that I would become a bartender, and I got my license online at bartendingcollege.com. Yes, it's a real thing. I really did. And then I got a job at Straw Hat Pizza. Yeah. So, because, you know, that was like the last straw though, and the dark path that it went me on, that I went down, that I went down, was, okay. If you've ever had chicken pox in your life, if you get so really stressed, I'm going to share a little tidbit with you. Try to control your stress or you will get a rash called shingles. It literally feels like pins and needles all over you. It feels like blotchy redness just everywhere, and it's itchy. It hurts. Mine wasn't like that other kind. There's a couple of different versions. It's not the spreadable kind. It's just the kind that's caused by stress. My whole body was like covered in it. And like, how do you get over somebody? How do you stop thinking about them? What's the fastest way? Well, the way I went, got me knocked up again. So you know, and in fact I was warned about this one though. And I tried to break it off. Like, I tried to even ghost. I was like, oh, well, he doesn't know where I live. I've only been talking to him for a couple months. We found each other on MySpace. But he was friends of people that I knew and went to school with people that I knew. So I figured, you know, safe. No, no, it's no safe. So my cousin, when I told her who I was talking to, she's like, oh, wait, who? So I told her the name, and she's like, mm-mm, not Terry, no. Certain people's names I am dropping bombs on. Yes, because that's truth. Some people that I feel I want to protect, I'll protect. Others, you're getting called out. Sorry, not sorry. You're getting called out. But not to punish you. That came off like I was, but no. There's a higher purpose. Don't forget that, okay? So she was like, no, he's horrible. Like, he's known to beat his girlfriends, and he's already been back and forth in jail. And I'm like, he's only like, and then I found out he was a year or two younger than me. And I was like, okay, that's crazy. He's already been in jail for that, right? But I believed her, and I tried to like get rid of it. And you know how? So it turns out he is friends with one of my brother's friends. And do you know how sometimes in life we come across people who are a little questionable, a little cuckoo and a big old blue, okay? A little questionable. And so sometimes they're just, you know, there, but we're nice people. We're raised to be nice and kind, no matter what walk of life you are, right? It's just kind of one of those that you're like, it's true. Not a gun. He's here. Oh, man. Ugh. So, like, I'm not going to even, because that's judging, and I'm not going to judge. So he's one of those types that, like, he would hang out for a little bit, and then it was like he fell off the face of the earth. You didn't hear from him. You didn't see him for years. Years would go by. My brother has grown up with him since elementary school, so it's kind of one of those things, right? And he's not a bad guy. Like, he's pretty funny, but you're just like, I gotta go. I don't know, but I'm also just that way with all humans because I'm not very humanly, I guess, which is interesting. It's just been that I've been played by too many, so it's like, I mean, do you really wonder? Anyway, so guess who he brings over? Because he decides to show up randomly. It's been years since we've seen him, and he shows up, and who does he show up with? He's best friends with this guy that I'm supposed to be getting rid of. Now he knows where I live. And now I'm like, And then he comes in and swoops in and just like sweet talks my mom a little bit and then helps her with fixing a problem on her computer because he's a computer guy. And so I'm like, great. And I had a favor. And then he's like bringing it all up and stuff. And like, why'd you ghost? Blah, blah, blah. And then I started feeling weird. And I was like, okay, well, like I'll like nicely just be like slowly, okay, but see, like we're just friends. So it doesn't mean that we have to hang out all the time. And I'm trying to get to that kind of point. To be honest, I don't remember how I did that. I don't even remember what I said. Because clearly it didn't work. And I like ended up taking extra. I was on birth control for this, okay? Forever. After Justin, I was on birth control. Because just in case. And I did double about this one because he was scary, okay? All that crap did happen. He is someone that we would literally get in physical fights. After I got the bartending job, he would actually have his friends follow me and watch me and spy on me at work to see if anyone came over to the bar. Like, hello, what do you think a bartender does? It's not like I'm trying to flirt, but like, you're gonna get people that flirt with me, and that I need to get tips, okay? Because that's how I make most of my income there. Because you get a check, but then you also get tips, so your check's actually small, and so you make most of your money on tips, and half of that is from being nice. And so, some people think that people who are being nice means that they're flirting with them and opening a door to sexuality, huh, Preston? Anyway, so, you know, I'm trying to, I end up, this is about 3 months pregnant later, and I'm trying to get rid of him. I'm trying to, like, do anything that I can. Even one of his friends was like, why are you friends with him? He's, like, really bad, and he's bringing guns around lately, and is just doing some really shady stuff right now, and he's, like, into drug stuff. Like, you need to get out of here. I'm like, I've been trying. Like, I literally can't. I've tried literally everything. He keeps coming up. We get in fist fights. Literally, we frighten each other. Like, it's insane, and I don't know how, and I've been trying. And he's like, I don't know, you got to do something, like maybe get him drunk or something. So you know what? I ended up taking his advice. I got him drunk. I was like, okay. And then boom, he started another fight. And like, I've seen this guy kill cats. Like, he would get a kitten, and then he wouldn't feed it, and it would be meowing, and then all of a sudden he'd just be mad, and then like toss it, and then it'd break its neck. And it's like, dude, are you serious? What are you gonna do with a freaking baby? Like, of course I'm scared. I'm like hyperventilating over here. Like, it was crazy. And so like, it was just a lot, right? And so I decided to get him drunk, and I did, okay? And sure enough, fights start. Here we go. Just protect the belly and take whatever jab happens, right? But when we were fighting kind of all around the house, just chasing after each other, just kind of like, if he hit me, I'd hit him back. Hit me again, I'd hit him back again. Literally fighting. I messed up my pinky because instead of punching him in the face, I punched a wall because I was done fist fighting, because I knew if I hit him that hard, he was going to hit me worse, because guys are stronger, okay? Had a little bit of shiner anyways, and so he ended up, I was trying to find my keys. He acted like he threw them out in the grass, and then it turns out they were under the bed, and he confessed that, so I went to go get under the bed and try to get them, and I did, and then I stood up, and I was like, don't ever talk to me again, we're done, seriously. So then he punched me in my belly, dropping me to my knees, and he put a gun to my head, and he said, I will slit your son's throat, burn your house down, and make you watch if you ever try to leave me again. So I finally left. I went home, and the next day I had to go to work and then let my boss know, and I let my friend know because she's also a manager. And so they're like, okay, we know what's up. We'll make sure that if he shows up, he's not allowed in. And he did end up showing up, and my boss had gone to his car to go get something, so he wasn't in the building. And I was like, hey, you need to leave. And during this time, I was getting regulars at my bar, and one of the regulars at my bar happened to be a guy who I ended up dating, my ex, who had all the dream, who ended up being, him and his dad were the ones that rescued me and my uncle, so Sandro, and at the dirt bike races, remember? Everything's all connected. So he ended up being a regular at my bar because him and his friend were building a restaurant down the way from Straw Hat Pizza. So that's where I worked. I don't know if I said that. So Straw Hat Pizza, I'm the bartender, and which is now Wind Onion Pizza over on Los Altos, which is crazy because my painted tree store is right there across the way. What? 14 years later, and I'm back over there. All connected. Okay, before I lose track. So, he's trying to bring me flowers, and he's like, just come around here, I'm going to make a scene. And I'm going to have to just say D. Okay, so he comes in, and him and his friend come in, and they sit down, and they're just watching this go on. And so I come around the corner, and he's like, "Hey, now give me a hug." So I'm like, "Just give me the flowers and get out of here." He's like, "No, I want to say sorry. I'm sorry. It won't ever happen again." I'm like, "You're right, because we're done." And he's like, "No, for real, like, it'll be all right." I'm like, "No, you need to leave." And he's like, "Just give me a hug or I'm gonna make a scene." And so I'm like, "Here's your hug." I gave him a hug. He's like, "Okay, take your flowers." So I took my flowers, and he's like, "For reals?" And I'm like, "No, for reals, you need to leave. You need to go." And so I start walking around, and then finally my boss comes out. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, this is the guy I was talking about." He's like, "You need to leave now." And so he ended up getting him out of there. And so D asks, he's like, "Hey, what was that all about?" And he's like, "What's this?" And I was like, so I told him everything that happened, and that he was here to apologize for all that. Like, I told him about the whole fight. And he's like, looks over at his friend, he's like, "You want to go for a ride?" He's like, "I sure do." Like, "Should we also call so-and-so?" He's like, "I sure think we should." They didn't do anything to him. They just were like, "You need to leave her alone," blah, blah, blah. They followed him. They were able to blackmail him. So they were like, no, 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 we got you on film. You will leave her alone forever. You will leave her alone. They were able to, like, find out what he was up to and other stuff, and found him in an alley with another dude. I don't know. So they had power to, like, just blackmail him, I guess. So didn't have to hear from him again, right? So there you go. Rescued me again. What? That's crazy. How it's all connected. So we ended up dating for a little while. And, like, he was trying for a long time. I was just like, no, I just kept trying to push him away. I'm like, "No, you don't want any of this mess. I got a lot of crap. I got a son already." He's like, "I have a son." And literally the same age. And, like, he was going through his divorce and stuff like that. Or so I was told. I don't know. So, like, he was there for most of the pregnancy and stuff. But then other things kind of got in the way, and he did have to go on a mission. So, I was waiting for him. And then sometime during that mission was when he had the dream that I shared with you in the other video about my life happening. And he was just like, 12 to 14 years goes by, and I don't want to wait that long, and I know I can't ask you to wait, but I'm asking you to wait, blah, 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 blah. And then it all freaking came true. Crazy. And that's true. Like, we did have, me and Preston, like, I met Preston. I ended up breaking up with him. Because of some information that I found out. So I'm going to end it here and start it here in the next one, because I know this is getting long. But now I have you super hooked, so I guess it's working. All right. See you next time. Literally in just a second. Okay. So go take your break. Go pee. Go get your stuff. Smoke whatever you gotta smoke. Drink whatever you gotta drink. Get your coffee. Go eat breakfast. I don't fucking know. And then you'll see the next one. So see y'all.